Hey everybody, Dutchsinse here. 1:39 p.m. Central Time on Thursday, October 2nd, 2014. And we're looking at Earthquake 3D here, which is a USGS feed of the most recent earthquakes. And standing out right at the center of the United States, a 4.4 magnitude earthquake just struck south central Kansas. Kansas not normally known for its earthquake activity. However, due south of there, right across the border in Oklahoma, a swarm of earthquakes over the last year, 2 years, has kicked off, and in the last several weeks has really progressed in size and scope across the entire state of Oklahoma, spilling west over here to Colorado. So we've seen a tremendous amount of activity over the last week, and I did a post on this yesterday showing the 3.9 that struck south central Kansas on September 30th. So just 2 days ago, we saw activity in south central Kansas, which stood out as odd, and that made me go look it up. Found out here's the 3.9, the nearest frac well about a mile away, and we can zoom in here and see they're even doing some new fracturing here with the tower, and here's the previous storage tanks from another pad. So I'd like to go ahead and look up the 4.4 here, and here's the statistics from the USGS. Looks like it's pretty much in the same area as the 3.9, so let's go ahead and put these coordinates in just to prove to you that we're zooming in on the right area. Okay, and I've already marked this, by the way. So here's the 4.4, and it's taking us in just on some kind of field. However, when we back it out, here's the 3.9 that I documented 2 days ago. Here's the nearest frac wells right here. Now, there may be some closer, further south here. Okay, and what they'll do is they'll actually inject water using a oil pump apparatus to inject water down into the ground. So you can see this is actually a pretty big operation here. We've got operation here, 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 here. Let's see if there's a street level view on this. Nope, no street level view. Okay, well, you got to figure it's back out in the back country of Kansas. The chances of them actually having a street level view at that spot are pretty slim. So just to the south, let's get a line measurement tool on this and see how near the nearest frac well is. So here's the 4.4. We're talking about 1.5 miles. So definitely within the vicinity of the earthquake epicenter, and with the other activity recently, that's kind of standing out to me as something that we need to be aware of. If you come back and read my post from yesterday, talking about the increase in earthquake activity that we're going to see along the edge of the craton. And so it's really starting to pick up in activity in the Midwest. Just thought I'd show that to you guys. You know, you're not going to hear very much about this on the news. Most of the news is paid for by the energy companies, oil companies. They've got special interest out the ass across the world. So you're not going to hear much about these fracking earthquakes other than maybe they'll tell you about the Oklahoma operations. You're not hearing them talk about Colorado or Kansas. Because once people start hearing about earthquakes in Kansas, it's a done deal for fracking. It's really starting to become a problem. Seismicity induced by fracking is starting to become a serious issue. It can cause some serious damage. A 4.4 earthquake can cause your chimney to collapse, facades to fall off the front of houses. No joke. You know, you get just a little bit larger than this, you start getting up into that 5.0 range. That's where people can actually get hurt. We can start to see collapse of structures, stone structures. We've seen it happen over in New Zealand, over in China. Hundreds of people killed in a 5.0 earthquake. Why? Because certain structures cannot withstand even a 5.0. That's due to, well, rigid structures, building code. We're talking here in Kansas, folks. We do not have building code to address earthquakes in the Midwest like you do on the West Coast, for instance. Your skyscrapers. Well, we've got Topeka, Kansas, just to the northeast right here. And we're talking maybe a couple hundred miles away at the most. If we start to see that activity pick up in Kansas, that lets you know the fracking earthquake problem is spreading across state lines. Look, Mother Nature is not going to pay attention to this little line right here that says it's a difference between Oklahoma and Kansas. You've got a fracking operation here. You've got a fracking operation here. Both are producing 4 and 5.0 earthquakes. Well, that lets you know it's not going to cease anytime soon. It's going to start to spread to the other operations in the adjacent areas. You can surely expect more earthquakes to spread, most likely to the northwest, where the more plentiful fracking operations are. You have other oil and drilling going on throughout the state, but you've got another large operation just to the west here. So I would expect that we'll start to see that fracturing occur further to the west as this, well, unexpected earthquake activity continues. Much love, guys. Be safe. Again, like I said, always have an earthquake plan ready and be prepared.